Hey everybody, Keegan here, and today's topic, it's always Sunni in Saudi Arabia. Okay everybody, so I want to get started, and before I get started, I wanted to talk a little bit about college fraternities. So you see a lot about college fraternities in movies and stuff, and you think that like when you get into college, you join a little clique and they put you through humiliating situations and stuff because you're trying to form some sort of like brotherly love. And this can be found in college fraternities for dudes and college sororities. But what a lot of people don't realize is the fraternal hazing that goes on in these colleges actually stems from Freemasonry. And this goes all the way into Chinese fraternities like the Yakuza, the Japanese Yakuza, the Chinese Triad. All of these different organizations stem from Freemasonry. And one of the things I actually wanted to get at here was like, you see this? So this is basically, these are different pictures of college fraternities, and they actually make you go through humiliating, like, I don't know what's going on here, but these guys are in their underwear and they're holding hands through each other's legs and stuff, and it's humiliating and degrading. And the reason why people are willing to put themselves through this kind of thing is because years later, when you're out of college, you can actually reunite with members of these fraternities and you can get jobs, or maybe you can get your kid a job. So it's almost like setting yourself up for the future. And this same kind of stuff is done in Hollywood. And you see Masonic symbols in so many movies and video games, and all the different hip hop artists seem to use these Masonic symbols and stuff, that it's hard to ignore. And one of the things I'm going to be pointing out today is the Masonic checkerboard. You see this? So when I see a checkerboard in a TV show or movie or music video, I can almost guarantee that there's going to be some sort of weird thing happening in the scene. It could be a human sacrifice, it could be a murder, or it could be something embarrassing. So when you become a Freemason, and again, not all Freemasons are bad, but at the top of the pyramid of Freemasonry, they are up to some shady stuff. But they actually show you these humiliation rituals right out in the open. And I actually wanted to show you something. The other day, I was watching one of my favorite shows, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Now, I've talked before in the past about how I can't seem to enjoy anything these days without the Illuminati stuff popping up. So the other day I'm watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and this the most recent season, season 13. And they were talking about the bathroom gender issue. Should guys be allowed in girls' bathroom, girls allowed in guys' bathrooms, etc. And as they're talking about it, they go into the women's bathroom, and I noticed that the floor is a rectangular checkerboard. You can kind of see the similarities between these two pictures. And when this happened, I was sitting there with my wife and a buddy of mine, and I said, oh, something weird's going to happen. Something weird is about to happen, because the shot for this, there's no reason to be showing the floor. In a moment, they actually peek under the stall and see that their friend is wearing high heels. And this is where you get into the humiliation ritual stuff. So here we have Charlie Day. Okay, so he's an actor. He's on the show. He plays the character Charlie. Now, this scene is supposed to be funny because Charlie's wearing a dress. But why is the subject of men being in a dress, why is that even funny anymore? I thought like we were all about equality and we weren't supposed to be laughing at stuff like that anymore. The character next to him, this guy right here, his name is Mac. His character recently came out of the closet on the show. But they didn't put him in a dress because a gay man in a dress wouldn't be funny. A straight man in a dress would be funny. And so this is Charlie Day's humiliation ritual. And notice he's on the checkerboard floor. So I was looking for the checkerboard, saw it, and then saw a dude bro in a dress. So this is his humiliation ritual. Again, it's not that being a dude in a dress, there's nothing wrong with that. But the way they do it is for humiliation for that specific actor. So the same way you're in a college fraternity and you eat the soggy cracker, you do the weird hand between the other guy's legs while you're in your underwear, the way that's humiliating, they do it for actors on screen. So to prove my point a little more, here's Harrison Ford in a dress, or in a hot dog outfit. So there's nothing wrong with being in a hot dog outfit, but you would never expect that out of Harrison Ford. He normally plays like really serious roles. So sometimes what you'll see happen in the mainstream is you'll see a celebrity have either something embarrassing happen to them, and it could be something as silly as the hot dog outfit, or in like with Taylor Swift. Remember when Kanye got on stage and he stole the mic from her? That was humiliating for her. So there's different types of humiliation rituals. Sometimes the humiliation ritual is a lot more serious. Sometimes they'll, for instance, Louis C.K., when he was in the news for asking chicks if he could masturbate and stuff. You remember all that? And his career kind of went to shambles. We'll see soon a revitalization of Louis C.K.'s career because he allowed himself to be dragged through the mud in the media. So these are humiliation rituals. So again, in Hollywood, what you'll find is they make men wear dresses. So here we got Eminem in a dress. See this here? That's Slim Shady, right? The guy that used to make fun of homosexuals and stuff. Here he is making a dress. Some would say he's trying to make fun of himself, and some see right through this and go, no, this dude, he flashes satanic symbols, he flashes Illuminati symbols, now he's in a dress, this is his humiliation ritual. For women, it's a little different, and for women, what they normally do is they make you shave your head. So let me see if I can get this. So see this here? We got Natalie Portman from Star Wars. We have the girl from Twilight. These two were in huge movie franchises, known for being stunningly beautiful, and they shaved their head. And why? Because hair is a symbol of your beauty. So these chicks had to degrade themselves, shave their heads. Again, nothing wrong with a woman with a shaved head, but these are rituals, and there's a reason why they do things like this. So let me get out of this. So back to the Harrison Ford hot dog thing. His humiliation ritual is a lot more G-rated than some of them. But do you remember when Kathy Griffin held up Donald Trump's severed head as like a joke or PR stunt? Soon after that, Kathy Griffin, look at this, had to sport the shaved head. So I'm just letting you guys know that this is a very serious thing that is done within Hollywood, done within college fraternities, and done within politics to basically let them know and to let other members know that we own you. And if you allow yourself to go through these degrading things, for instance, with Harrison Ford, he never got any of the Star Wars money because back when Star Wars first came out, he signed a contract that said he would just get a certain amount of money, and he never got to cash in on Han Solo. Years later, they asked him to be Han Solo, and he's like, can I get some of that Star Wars money this time? They say, no problem. But first you got to get in a hot dog outfit and go on Jimmy Kimmel. And I believe when Jimmy Kimmel had Harrison Ford on his show, he was dressed up like a woman. He was dressed up like Princess Leia. Jimmy Kimmel's show is filmed in the old Masonic Lodge in Los Angeles. So boom, boom, boom. But I get into this stuff because there are basically 3 major chapters when it comes to the Illuminati. And when I say 3 major chapters, I mean like as far as their finances and where they come from. And one of the chapters or wings in the Illuminati is, well, the bottom, let's say the base of the Illuminati pyramid would be the Americans, the Rockefellers, and the Rothschilds. On one side of the pyramid, you would have Israel and you would have Great Britain. And on the other side of the pyramid, you would have Saudi Arabia. So it's money coming from Saudi Arabia, money coming from America, and money coming from Israel and Britain that form the financial structure of the Illuminati pyramid. And so we've known for a long time that one of the founders of fraternities is Prescott Bush, and that's George Bush Jr.'s granddaddy. And a long time ago, him and his buddies went to Yale, and they were in the Army. At the time, they actually went to Geronimo's grave. They dug it up. They took Geronimo's skull back to Yale, and they founded the first fraternity, which is the Skull and Bones. When pledges pledged to be in Skull and Bones, they actually swear on Geronimo's skull. There's been lawsuits from Geronimo's ancestors and stuff, or his bloodline, that they want the skull back. So George Bush Sr. is highly involved in the Skull and Bones fraternity at Yale and Harvard. The Saudi Arabian government has always been in cahoots with the Bush family. If you remember during 9/11, people used to talk about the Saudi oil connection, Bush and his family and the Saudi Arabian prince bloodline, they work hand in hand. So Saudi Arabia is cool with Freemasonry, whether or not they're Freemasons or not. And I bring some of this up because in Freemasonry you have the two pillars. And I'll show you here what I'm talking about. Earlier I was talking about the checkerboard. Okay, you see these two pillars? In a lot of like false flag attacks or in a lot of things that happen in the world that we think the Illuminati had their hands in, you always see these two pillars, right? And with that, I'm going to get into Saudi Arabia and I'm going to get into the Vegas shooting a little bit. So if you guys aren't familiar with the Saudi Arabian government or what they do, for the past, let's say 70 years, Saudi Arabia has been known to be leaders in human rights violations. They constantly behead people in public and stuff to kind of cause fear within their community and whatnot. The Saudi Arabian government somehow was involved with the Vegas shooting. And what I know, it seems like I'm going all over the place and I'm not trying to. I just kind of want to show you guys something. You know how I just showed you those two pillars? This is a picture from the movie Infinity War. It's a Disney-made movie. It's a Marvel comic book, big movie called Infinity War. This is the character Thanos, and this is the character Gamora. At a young age, Thanos takes Gamora, and he raises her. And you notice these two pillars that he's walking her through? Well, later on in the movie, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Infinity War, but to get one of his Infinity Stones in this magical gauntlet, he actually has to sacrifice his daughter Gamora. Again, we see these two pillars. This is where Thanos throws Gamora from. Do you see these two pillars that look familiar? Looks like 9/11, looks like the Twin Towers, right? Again, a lot of people think that Freemasonry and the world governments like Saudi Arabia basically carried out the attacks of 9/11 and that it was a giant Freemason human sacrifice. So I want to show you something here. See the Mandalay Bay? See these two towers right here? These are in a lot adjacent from the Mandalay Bay and adjacent from the Luxor and adjacent from where all the people were shot during the Vegas shooting. This is just a big empty lot with two pillars in it, right? What some people think is that the Vegas shooting was pre-planned well in advance. And one of the reasons why I bring this up is Saudi Arabia, when the Vegas shooting happened, the top floor of the Mandalay Bay is owned by Saudi Arabia. It's an entirely different hotel than the rest of the Mandalay Bay. It's called the Palms. And after the shooting at the Mandalay Bay, the next, I can't remember if it was before or after, but the entire Saudi regime was basically arrested by the current prince. They were kept in the Ritz-Carlton, one of the nicest hotels in Saudi Arabia, as like a prison. And Mohammed bin Salman, who is friends now with President Trump, he had Trump come over. They did this thing called the sword dance in front of Trump. And the next day, they proceeded to arrest 11 prominent politicians, businessmen, and princes from all over Saudi Arabia. That was a year ago today. Today's November 4th. The next day after that, a helicopter explosion happened and it killed a bunch of these dudes that had been arrested. So it looks like the Saudi regime is wiping house, like it's cleaning house. Are they cleaning up the one financial Saudi Arabian Illuminati branch, the financial branch? Is that what this King Mohammed bin Salman and Trump are doing? Or is Trump a part of the Illuminati and he's actually infighting with the Illuminati right now? I bring this up because David Icke, one of my favorite writers, he talks about how every 200 to 400 years, the current government or religion is destroyed and replaced with a new one. The new one is just like the old one, but it teaches that the old one's bad. So I bring this up because in Saudi Arabia, this new prince, he was allowing women to drive. He was bringing in Western movies and Western music. It seems like Saudi Arabia is about to become more like the United States. Meanwhile, we were on the path there for a while to the United States becoming more like the New World Order. So again, the current government or religion is destroyed, replaced with a new one. The new one's just like the old one. So it seems as if Saudi Arabia is trying to be the good guys. But after this purge, after the Vegas shooting and all this stuff went down, 17 women's rights activists in Saudi Arabia were immediately arrested under the guise of trying to help help Saudi Arabia out. So it looks like they're trying to help women's rights, but then they arrest all the women's rights advocates. So maybe they're trying to control the women's rights movement, the pace that it's accelerating at in Saudi Arabia with this purge. But I bring some of this up because right now Saudi Arabia is in the news because this journalist that got killed. This journalist was a big critic of Mohammed bin Salim. He was a huge critic of them. So it looks like Saudi Arabia was complacent with this journalist getting killed. This journalist's name was Khashoggi. And he went over to the Saudi Arabian consulate, and the Saudi Arabian guards came in and they supposedly like cut him and they used a bone saw on him and all this stuff. And it looks now like Saudi Arabia was complacent in killing one of these journalists that were a critic of Saudi Arabia. And the American media is going crazy. Look, Saudi Arabia killed this journalist. But they don't seem to mention a damn thing when Saudi Arabia beheads 11 people in a day. So why are they going after Saudi Arabia killing this journalist so bad? Well, one of the things it looks like is that Turkey might have somehow been involved in orchestrating this event. So I don't even know necessarily if this Khashoggi guy, if he's still alive, if he's dead. They're saying now that he was dissolved in an acid bath. But what I want to know is, how does Turkey know so much about this reporter? They said they had him bugged. Why did Turkey have this journalist bugged? Is this basically a false flag situation that's being set up to frame Turkey for killing this journalist so we can go into Saudi Arabia and destabilize Saudi Arabia? Because one of the things that'll happen is that the Illuminati, once we go in and destabilize a place, the Illuminati takes control. So it looks like Saudi Arabia's Illuminati is infighting with themselves, and they're actually trying to attack themselves and blame it on Trump and the new prince of Saudi Arabia. God, I hope that makes sense. I'm slowly learning more and more about this stuff. But anyhow, I love you guys and keep fighting. And in the meantime, don't roll your eyes at me.